Why are you flying this so much?
Because this is the future. And maybe not for me and for you, but this is the future of people coming to our sports. Because nobody wants to have that spaghetti wire mess that we call a waist quad. They just want to go buy something, slide a battery in the back, and fly it.
And that is what Connex has done. They've created an FPV drone that anyone can fly. I sat there and watched at least 3 people who have never touched anything RC before sit down and fly laps through gates around a small course set up for the Connex Falcore. Now, if you had told me that someone that had never touched an RC anything before was able to complete laps with a quad, I would never have believed you. However, knowing how shield mode, as well as the other modes on the Falcore work, made it somewhat believable. The Falcore has a sonar. The sonar is in the bottom of the machine, points at the ground, and helps reduce the need for the user to rely on altitude management. Now, for me, and for I think everyone else, the hardest part of FPV drones is throttle management. Making sure that you are the right height from the ground to pass through a gate, to stay from hitting the grass, or to not clip the tree above you is the hardest part. Because as you change the angle of attack to increase or decrease speed, you're also increasing the amount of thrust that points straight down, keeping you off the ground. By including something like the sonar, they are able to remove that level of complexity from the process of flying a drone and made it significantly easier to pick up, start flying, and get going. With the addition of other modes, the user is able to start flying in shield mode, graduate to horizon mode, and finally become an official true racer when they make it to acro mode. In this way, Sean, Brian, and I all believe that the Connex Falcore will be an amazing tool for the FPV community overall. By creating a lower barrier to entry for people to join the hobby, we are also creating an opportunity to grow the sport to the point that we all want it to be. One more thing that I've actually been very impressed with is the price. For the Falcore, a receiver, and a transmitter, you can get away for $800. Now normally you look at a quad and you're looking to spend about $300. For the transmitter you're another $200. For the Connex Pro Sight system it would be another $400 by itself. Now you can quickly get over $1,000 just for that setup. However, you buy the Falcore, it comes with a transmitter and receiver. All you need is a set of goggles. And I think that for a beginner, you could probably get away with one of the cheaper Banggood ones that, cost $50 to $100, and then over time graduate to the more expensive, powerful systems that we normally run when we're doing FPV racing. So $800 is actually a pretty good deal if you ask me. For something that is totally ready to fly, you don't need anything except a set of goggles. This is the Falcore itself. You can see it's a one big unibody construction of a frame. It's got a molded carbon shell to it. It has, I'm not sure what the motors are, but they told me they're 2205, 2300 kV, which are just fine for a beginner quad like this. And it's got a Pro Sight antenna and all of that fun stuff. On the front you've got the Connex Pro Sight HD camera with the only, or with the standard lens with the little rubber casing, and you can change the angle of it however you want. The receiver antennas come out of these little tubes here, and the whole thing, when you crash, they're kind of designed to take a little bit of an impact because it will separate and roll rather than break. That makes it a little bit easier. In that same line of thinking, you can also take off the entire arm so that you can replace it with another one. So if you slide these rubber O-rings off, the whole arm disconnects from the body, and then you can unplug it with these little 3-pin plugs here. Now, you can access the flight controller USB port through this little knobby dealio, and you can also access the Pro Sight transmitter through there. To take out the innards, all you need is the little tool that the ProSight comes with, which is just an M3 driver. And you can unscrew this screw. So once you have the arms out and you've pulled the receiver antennas out of the little top plate here, the whole chassis of the internals just slides out like that. And you can access the camera, the plugs, the speed controllers here, and the flight controller is all kind of built into this one PCB. No, it's all good. Mr. Harrison here from the XTC is
fucking your shit up. Don't mind
causing
me.
serious problems for this YouTube video, so you can
I hate you, YouTube.
blame him for everything. Anyway, so in here you can see that there's a receiver, one of the antennas I have broken, unfortunately, trying to get this disassembled. That was my fault. As well as the ProSight transmitter, so you can swap the antenna on the ProSight if you accidentally break one. More ESCs are down the side, and the XT60 is in the back. Okay, this is the radio, and on the radio you've got your two gimbals, which are okay. They're not the best, but I think they're actually probably a little bit better than the Tyrannus. You have a standby mode, an arm mode, and that's kind of combined with these switches here are the only things that you really need to fly it. You have shield mode up here, you have horizon, and then a full acro mode. And you need to switch to standby to move between each mode, and then arm, and then the whole machine will start. On the back, you have a ProSight transmitter, which is the same transmitter as you would get if you just bought the Vision kit, and it's mounted on the back of the transmitter, and there's a plug for it right there. So all you have to do is plug your goggles in to that, which I'm actually very impressed with. So you can take this off and put it on a ground station if you want, or you can fly it on your radio just like that. So what does all that mean for the average FPV racer? Well, actually not a lot. This product isn't for you. This is something that is aimed at someone that has never flown before. Using the features of the Sonar and shield mode and other things like that, it's going to be aimed at a market that is beginner, that has never flown before, and it's going to be used as something to be a progression for them. So by learning in one mode and adapting to the next and the next and the next, users are going to continue to get more advanced over time and use this as a stepping stone to future FPV racing drones. That being said, I think that an application for this machine in the world of FPV as we know it as professional and aspiring FPV pilots, I think this would actually make for a really fun spec racing machine. By everybody running the same thing with the same system, using the Connex ProSight as the vision system, by having everybody run the same exact thing, it could be a lot of fun. When I'm talking to other professional pilots, what we've decided is that the funnest thing for each of us is to do spec racing. And I think that this fits perfectly in that category. So am I going to tell you to run out and buy a Connex ProSight? No. But if you have someone that wants to get into it, and somebody that is willing to pay a little bit extra, again, this is $800 by itself, this would be a great place to start. Honestly, by having the different modes and the progression and the durability of what this is, it's going to be a great stepping stone for someone to learn how to FPV and how to stay flying.